Shall I be really not enthusiastic?
No, that doesn't
Edible.
work.
This is the Edible Valley podcast. Hello.
This is William and I'm bored.
Okay, 2, 3. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever the time of day it is where you are. Hello, this is William Stringer. This is the Edible Valley podcast. Right next to me, I've got Mr. Jonathan Frazier.
Hey, how are you doing, Will?
I'm all right, mate.
So today, we're going to turn up the heat a little bit, and we're going to talk about why go to cooking school.
Welcome to the Edible Valley podcast.
We want to invite you as we embark on a culinary journey through the heart of Vancouver Island
From the fertile fields,
to the pristine waters of the Pacific Ocean.
we'll explore the stories behind the food that nourishes us.
Tune in to each episode as we deep dive into the flavors, the traditions, and the innovations that make this a true paradise.
Now please join us as we explore our Edible Valley.
And we're going back to school today. We're talking about cooking school. Now, this is something that really fits in with the Comox Valley because there are some legendary educational institutions here in the Comox Valley, such as North Island College. And
Well, let's just say on Vancouver Island in general.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you look like myself. I did my apprenticeship program down at Camosun College.
Okay.
In Victoria, which
Nice.
was back in 2000. I completed that, so back in the 90s. And then also you've got VIU in Nanaimo, which has an excellent program, which also runs in Powell River. And then you've got right here in Campbell River. So we're going just past Courtney here. You've got North Island College, which also has another campus out in Port Alberni. So this is a food area.
It is, and it's great that it's coming through the young people. It's attracting more young people to the area. So we've got that real, the whole island is becoming, an actual microcosm of the real world.
Of
You've got
course.
older people, younger people, everyone in the middle, and the young people are learning the trade. So it really is instilling the island as a great culinary location.
Well, I mean, first of all, we have such an amazing abundance of food here,
Yeah.
right? Like we have the ocean to one side of us.
Yeah.
We got the mountains to the other
Yeah,
side. So
wild
we've got
food.
everything you can imagine here.
Yeah.
And we've got very passionate farmers.
Fertile lands.
Exactly.
All around us.
We're in the land of plenty.
Yeah,
That's the
isn't that what the
translation.
First Nations
Yeah.
say? Call it absolutely. Comox First Nations, calling it the land of plenty. My gosh, that is an absolutely spot on description of it. I mean, it is wonderful and such a mild climate for Canada and for North America as a whole.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Anyway, so that was my today, and I was thinking about it. I was running a little behind, because now I am getting into the instructor's role.
Now,
Yeah.
I got to ask. Okay, so locals, you got locals. You're spending a lot of time there. You're one of the owners of that great restaurant, but you're now kind of being split in two, and you're spending a lot of time up at the college doing the teaching. How are you enjoying that?
Well, I haven't officially started teaching yet, so there's still a lot of things that experiences that
What
are
have
going
you
to
been
come.
doing up there for the last?
I have been setting programs. I have been learning how the systems work.
Okay.
It's amazing the amount of work
Oh, I
and
bet. Yeah, yeah.
structure that goes
Yeah.
in behind trying to put together a program. So,
Yeah.
and I'm just trying to understand that and make sure that when students come in
Yeah.
and I get to show my passion and be able to give them the experience and to actually get to taste and cook with these and learn how to properly
Yeah.
use the ingredients that are there.
And
So-
what has teaching taught you about the industry? I mean, it must have taken you to an area you weren't really at in your mind.
Well, I mean, this is what got me into this is I'm just like, for one sense that it was really hard finding people who want to get into the industry, who wants to, there's a lot of negativities about the cooking
Yeah.
industry. There's
Yeah.
a lot of things that ourselves as cooks and chefs and people in the industry that we talk down about it.
Yeah.
But then we forget to mention the great opportunities and the friendships and the people that we get to work with and how we get to make life better for people, right?
Yeah.
And there's something
100%.
about when you go into a place and you can always start up a conversation with someone with like, what'd you have for dinner last night? Or what's your favorite food, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that is sort of where I've always gone with it. And so I thought, you know what, this is a great opportunity for me to be able to give back
Yeah.
and sort of maybe pass on some of my skills
100%.
and maybe encourage people to get into the industry a little bit
Any
more.
new little Jonathan Frazier's lying around? potentials
we're
in the
gonna
valley?
find out because I meet my class in a couple days here.
Oh,
So I've got
that's exciting.
12 students who are coming in for the professional cook level 1.
Okay.
So you got 3 programs. So professional cook level 1,
Okay.
a diploma, and a certificate. I'm not going to get into it because it gets a little bit confusing.
Yeah.
But basically, the professional cook level 1, which is the whole sort of base it, is off of Skills Trade BC,
Okay.
which is the apprenticeship program for BC. And so they manage all of what the requirements are for each industry in the trades and what you need to accomplish to become a chef or become a Red Seal, as the goal is. And that's someone who's trained and understands their profession, right?
Okay.
So this is the first level of 3 for my students. So the students coming in, they're going to get taught the basic fundamentals. It's very focused on recipes, and we're going to teach you sort of the basis behind why we make those recipes and what the food comes out of it.
And then the idea is they're going to go on to be the Comox Valley's next restaurant owners, chefs, that kind of thing.
They're going to move into, once they finish the course and they get their Red Seal, it doesn't mean you're a chef. And I don't want to degrade the amount of work that people who have their Red Seal is, but it's just a point to say that you understand how to cook.
Okay.
And that if you come into my restaurant with a Red Seal, I can give you a recipe or I can show you the menu and you
Basically understand.
should understand.
Okay.
Your
That's
techniques may change a little bit because every chef has a little bit of a different technique.
Yeah.
I'm going to teach my students as close to the book as I possibly can, which is a lot of me going back to the books and being like, because I mean, as a chef, I've got my cheats. I know how to cut corners. I know how to do all sorts of crazy things, but I want to get back to the fundamentals. So for me, it's exciting because I get to go back and retrain
That's great.
to know the actual how to make that recipe, right?
That's awesome.
So,
Nice.
and I get to pass it on, but then they're going to be able to go into the industry and then they're going to learn their own, as we call them, bad habits, and how they can pick up the speed and how they can really master their craft. So
I love it. Okay.
yeah.
Perfect.
And the thing is once they get their Red Seal and then they get to have the experience and they put the time in, that's when they're going to move into that management position and they're going to be able to become the chef and run a restaurant.
So someone might be out there listening to this and they're considering doing this course or doing a course or educating themselves in some way. What would their next steps be then? Would it be kind of finding out what their goals are and then going from there, or going to the college and asking them what they can do?
You know what? That would be, if you're interested in becoming a chef, I mean, reaching out to a lot of organizations or reaching out to industry. If you're curious, go to your favorite restaurant and just ask them, be like, hey, I'm thinking about becoming a chef. How do you recommend going about it?
Nice.
And you're going to get some honest feedback. You're going to learn some things. I mean, each place is a little bit different, but you can learn a little bit about there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's also the Chefs Association, as I'm part of, that's part of our goal is to go out and promote our industry and get people really excited about it. But, there's also going and talking to a counselor at a university or a college or any one of these great establishments around Vancouver Island or
Absolutely.
Canada. Like there's hundreds of great schools all across Canada
Wonderful.
that are really pushing the limits. And we're starting to build a real good culinary world in this around here. So
I love it. Awesome.
yeah. So this is why I'm here today. So I'm just kind of spitballing and sort of being like, you know what? You really want to get into cooking? There's great opportunities. And why should you go to cooking school? Like that's my biggest one. Because there's lots of opportunities. Like, why did you did tourism school?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, I was a restaurant manager in the UK, and honestly, I wanted to come over here and do that. I'd been doing a working holiday in Canada. I really enjoyed it, and I wanted to. When you move to another country, you have to kind of set your skills into their culture. The cultures are actually quite different between the two countries. So I wanted to learn the Canadian way of doing it, and the course did that. It helped me to understand the Canadian way of doing things, and from there go into the workplace here. Another thing that it helped me with is getting me in the community that I wanted to end up. I could have just applied as a regular immigrant to come over, the points-based immigration system, but I would have ended up in a part of the country that is having to, kind of look for people because maybe less people want to go there. I don't want to live in a cold area of the country at all.
Like
so
Winnipeg?
I was thinking Winnipeg. But I've never been there. I'm sure it's lovely.
No, but they have the worst football team.
Oh, do they?
This is only me
They
and my
have a
wife.
football team?
They do. Just full disclosure, my wife is from Winnipeg originally,
yes,
and
sorry,
I always trash it because I'm like, why would you want to go to Winnipeg?
I actually really want to go and see the middle provinces. I'd love to just see the flatness of it. When I was in Edmonton, I just found it. I was like, "Boof." I was like, it's so crazy how flat it is.
There, you know what? She was just out there recently and got some photos from there, and there's some beautiful sunsets.
Oh, I
and
bet.
just
The big
incredible,
skies. Yeah.
And you'll never experience like thunderstorms
Oh, I bet.
here
Yeah.
as they're out there.
Nothing
So-
to stop it progressing. So, the course helped me to do that. It helped me to do a lot of things, but it also meant that, you get the work experience and everything from the community, you build the connections, and then you can stay in the community you want to be at. So that's another reason I did it. But it was a fantastic course. It was a tourism course, lots of different perspectives and things that I would learn that I wouldn't have even thought of in a microsecond. So it was a great thing. I'd love to do it again. It's just a shame the pandemic hit halfway through and I had to do the rest of the course on my laptop in front of the fire.
Yeah.
It was very nice in a way, but it was also sad not to be around my new friends.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
But that was one of the key points I had here is like why you go into these industries, like completely networking and connecting with members of the industry, right? Like they're the ones coming to the school looking for people, and most of the instructors, like especially in the cook and the trades, they come from the industry. They're all experienced, whether it's carpenters, plumbers, electricians, know, and us cooks. We come from the trades. We've done our time in there. And then we're just trying to showcase the talents and what we've learned. And to be able to share that with the next coming group, right?
Yeah.
So,
and then you're going to be in a situation where you're much older. The generation that currently teach are going to start to own the restaurants, run the restaurants, be the head chefs. And you're going to go in there as the kind of rich old professor with your tweed jacket, and you're going to be able to be like, hey, it's this guy, and it's going to be a wonderful
I don't know
thing.
if I'll ever be rich, but I'm hoping they recognize me and they say, let me buy you the dinner tonight, chef.
There we go, all on me. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so
Awesome.
I think getting into the industry, and then doing the school, I think is a great opportunity. And I know there's a lot of chefs out there, and I know in my industry that they're like, oh, it's a waste of time, but because a lot of times it's hard because it's not something that's forced in our industry, like electricity and those ones. You have to have a red seal to work in those industries, but with cooking, it's optional. Right?
Yeah.
Like you can still get a job. There's a lot of great chefs out there who don't have the academic side of cooking. They've never been in school. They've just been hands-on and stuff. But I feel like it gives you the opportunity to expand. I know when I did my apprenticeship, it changed my life because I went from cooking food. I knew how to cook everything, right? In my restaurant.
Yeah.
If you wanted a schnitzel, I could do a schnitzel. You want a spatzel, boom, I had that. If we're doing sauteed vegetables or we had to do like a mushroom soup, I could do that.
Yeah.
I had no idea why I was doing that or what was the reasons for doing that.
Yeah.
Like making scones. This was a great one was brought to me today. Like when you're making a biscuit or something like that and you get your flour and you want to roll it in the butter, and part of breaking up the flour in the butter is so that the flour is all nicely coated, right?
Yeah.
And so that when you add your liquid to it, the flour stays dry. Because when liquid hits flour, you create gluten, right?
Right.
But so you don't want the sticky mass. You want a light biscuit. So if you're doing it this way, all of a sudden you get this light, fluffy product compared to something where you just throw it all in the pot and stir it up. Yeah. So it's amazing how many different flavors and different contrasts and things you can get from just simple ingredients, right?
Yeah. I like you. And the passion of it is coming through. So what should someone do then if they're interested? Who do they contact?
Well, they go out to the industry. They talk to some people in the industry, and find out if this is actually the profession for you.
Yeah.
Like there are some negatives about our profession.
Yeah.
You're going to end up working on days off. It's not a Monday to Friday gig.
Okay.
You're going to be working weekends. You're going to be working holidays.
You're also going to get Mondays off sometimes.
Well, here's the
Things
best
like
part.
that.
Yeah, like you want to you want to go see something, a professional, you need to go to the doctor, you want to do something during the week, you want to do something when no one else is around and have like free ability.
Yeah.
Like you want to go skiing in the middle of the week, especially for here, or, like tube runs in the middle of the week here. There's no one on the river, right? So these are the opportunities you get when you're in this profession, right?
Yeah.
A lot of times too, it's more of an evening shift. So if you're a night owl, it's a great because you get up, you can sleep in really late, come in a little bit later. I mean, this is just one end of it. So, and there's so many different areas of the profession you can work in, right?
I miss it so much, and I miss the fact that it felt like a game sometimes. Like I was always coming at it from a front of house point of view. They're like, right, you got another table, you got another table, you got another table. You're like speeding up, right, and then you've got literally like 20 things you need to go water them, and need to take their bill, and they run the food, and the bell's going to go in a minute. Bing, bing. Right, I need to run that food for them. Oh, they're holding up their hands. Right, they've got a complaint that needs to go to the manager, and he's called the manager. And it's just and it's like that for sometimes 6 hours. You come out of it sometimes making like hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and you get addicted to Diet Pepsi, but it's still bloody good fun.
Yes, and that's it. Like you make friends forever.
Oh, you meet the most amazing people.
Yes,
and clients, customers as well.
Yeah.
You meet some really wonderful people that make it amazing.
Yeah. And sometimes the kitchen can be hard. It can be hot. But, you kind of power through it. And days go by really quick.
Yeah.
Shifts go by really quick too, right? Because you get in there, you always have something to eat.
Yeah.
I mean, I've tried so many foods and be able to sample so many different things because of my industry. And it's just like...
Touche. I'm jealous. All right. Well, thank you for sharing that, John.
Yeah. I just thought we'd do a quick little podcast today because I'm a little behind and trying to keep up with all my other life and stuff like that. But
it's both of us, and I think actually this is. I mean, if you're listening to this, thank you very much. I'm sure you are really, really busy as well. Everyone seems to be really, really busy at the moment, which is a great thing. But we always like to jump on and do a quick podcast, and just kind of shoot it over something. I think this is a really interesting thing because it is now less than a week away from being September. Kids going back to school. You're getting ready for this awesome new career change or career addition, and I can't wait to hear how that goes. And as the season starts to change, one of the biggest changes of the year, we move into one of the most abundant seasons of the year in terms of the harvest.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's going to be a really good couple of weeks. So we're going to have some great podcasts coming your way over the next couple of weeks and months.
Well, this is what I got to say is lately I've been running into everyone. And so that's the great thing is we're lining up a bunch of great people to talk to.
Great.
And a bunch of great events that are going on. And so it's going to be a lot.
We need to get business cards.
Yes.
Because I meet so many people and it's great just to be there you go.
And we got this lovely other mic here at the radio station here.
Mic.
So, and thank you to Jet FM for letting us use your studio.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, 98.9 Jet FM. Amazing bunch of folks. And, I still work for Jet FM and have a great time with them. What a great bunch of people. So,
We're like two of the busiest guys around,
No, we're not. I mean, I like to think I am and I talk about it a lot. And, but you look at what other people have on their plate as well. You're like, oh, my gosh.
Oh, I know.
I mean, it just doesn't stop. So anyway, thank you for taking time out of your day to listen to us. We really appreciate it. Any suggested topics you'd like us to do as well, let us know on Facebook. We'd love to hear it.
Send us an email at theediblevalley@gmail.com for sure.
Yeah, brilliant. And for now, we will bid you a good day. This is the last meteorological summer 2024 episode. The next one will be in September, early September sometime. But for now, we wish you an absolutely wonderful day, whatever you're doing.
And one last thing before we go.
It's kind of rounding up. But
no. Sorry, I got to throw this in because you're almost done. But make sure to check us out for next one because we'll talk about who won our Frisbee golf competition.
Oh, yeah. We're going to do the Cumberland Frisbee golf. I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be good. All right. Have a good one. Thank you so much for listening to us. Cheers.
Thank you.